All right.
I just wanted to make it harder for you.
So, how about that Dogecoin?
Oh, how's it going?
Has that one actually spiked a lot?
Actually, it's gone up a little bit. I bought in at like 2 or 3 cents, just for the lulz, just because I just want to say I have Doge. But right now it's sitting at about 7.
Nice.
Yeah. I've made a healthy profit, and I might, depending on where it goes, I might buy some more just to hold on to. Yeah. My girlfriend, right? She invested in a new crypto called ADA.
Okay.
I don't know much about it, but she's been gushing about it. And basically, she only threw in her spare change, from whatever she had, and I think it was like $60-$70. But just in the past few months, it started like skyrocketing, and she's made a couple $100.
Not bad.
Yeah. See, she's just not a big fan of mathematics.
Yeah.
But she's really fallen in love with with kind of like crypto and kind of stocks and stuff like that, just looking at that stuff, and I'm really happy. So, in other news, has anybody heard about that coup in Myanmar?
I heard about it, however, I know nothing about it.
It's really terrible, but the honest fact is Myanmar has been a military dictatorship for longer than it hasn't, and it was only very recent that they got convinced to allow for democracy from this woman who'd been fighting for like Myanmar voting rights for a long time. The military dictatorship turned itself into a party. So basically, the military dictatorship says, okay, we're going to allow for votes, and we're going to be a party, one of the votable parties. And they were surprised when they lost by a landslide. We thought we would win.
Take the loss better or worse than Trump?
Worse. So they did the same thing. They were like, voter fraud.
Yeah.
And basically, after I think like a few years, recently, they stormed the Capitol and arrested the president for not addressing these voter fraud allegations. Did you see that crazy video where there's this woman who was doing like aerobic exercises and recording herself? And unbeknownst to her, she videotaped the military junta breaking through the Capitol, just like police trucks and army trucks just blasting through, and she's just going like, stretch.
That's really funny.
Yeah. Let me ask you, if you were to be randomly just recording, like yourself doing something, and then something just insane happens behind you, something that'll go down in the history books, what would you want that thing to be? That you don't see, that you're just doing stuff, and then just like later on you find out this huge thing happened.
Oh, it's got to be something that would be like, that isn't already going to be seen on the news, right? You want it to be something that like you have the only footage of. Like
yeah, but then people wouldn't believe you.
But if it's convincing enough footage that it looks, I mean, to be fair, it is really, really easy to make something fake. Because like my first instinct was like alien abduction.
That's what I would say, but I would want it in at least in a town where some other people witnessed it.
Yeah.
I'm just the one that recorded it.
Yeah.
I'd want to be recording, and then like aliens come down to make first contact, and someone just beats the crap out of the alien.
Just the first intergalactic hate crime?
Yeah, just like, we come in peace. They come in peace.
Would you rather in the next 10 years we build the first underwater cities or the first flying cities?
I've actually fantasized about both a lot.
Yeah, Bioshock style. Not the religious zealot style, just the city part. You can come on it.
Are we talking just underwater in shallow waters, or can we do some really deep sea shit?
Not like the Marianas Trench, but probably like a few thousand feet underwater, near the coast. Maybe not near the deepest part of the ocean, but kind of near the coastline.
Are we solving technologically for pressure for ourselves, or are we? Because we'll still feel the atmospheric pressure, right?
We will. Let's say the technology that built the city counteracts it, but say if there is something like an earthquake that cracks the pressure, everybody would die. That's still a danger. It's like
there's always going to be something.
Yeah. But let's say they've taken like as many precautions,
Or
like it's a
be reasonable,
multi-dome city, so even if one pressure valve
What I was
fails-
really thinking about is, am I gonna have like abnormalities as a result of pressure?
Yeah, is my baby
Either-
gonna
I
be a
mean, either
weird
way, it's
squid
gonna be
baby?
that.
Yeah, probably some, but let's say not like anything too drastic.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, in fact, your bones might become denser because you're under so
Yeah.
much water. Yeah, yeah. Floating or
I
flying?
think C. I
C?
think C. C is
I'd
like.
have to go with floating just because you'd be able to execute people by throwing them off.
I mean, you can eject
Peace.
them
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, but you gotta like properly airlock them from
Yeah.
yours. From us, it's like we're going for a
Fish
lovely
kick.
walk in this nice little forested area. Off the edge you go.
That means it's easier to accidentally die.
Well,
though.
I also feel like a flying city though would have technology to prevent against most people falling because you're in the
Yeah, of
sky.
course,
Like,
sure.
like I'm sure they would plan for that. You know, it'd be
Yeah.
pretty hard to just throw a guy off. They'd probably have like multiple nets
Actually,
going
you
down.
know what? Just for health, I think the sunlight, not having any from being underwater, will kill you.
Well,
Not literally, but like.
Well, let's say they have like simulated UV lights, but yes,
Okay.
there will be some nutritional deficiencies there. But at the same time, if you're in the sky, you're gonna have a higher chance of skin cancer.
Yeah, but you go inside.
Go in the clouds.
No, go. There's buildings.
Oh,
Surely,
your
right?
city is
Like,
still in a city.
I don't think we just
You
got
can
rid
still
of
be like,
roofs.
it's bright outside. Close the curtains.
Yeah. Just go inside.
Uh-huh.
I'm
I feel
sure.
like before
listen,
we
if
create
can,
floating
if we
cities,
can,
we'll control the weather.
that, and if we can solve for like underwater sea pressure, I'm sure we can have some good stuff to block like UV
No,
shit.
no,
Yeah,
fair enough.
I'm sure
fair
we have
enough.
something there.
I just feel like if anything ever bad happened on the floating city,
Yeah.
it'd still look really pretty because you're in the sky.
Yeah.
If
okay.
anything bad happened down there, it's like Bioshock immediately.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
the moment
That
water gets in
nightmare.
and it starts flooding, lights go out, everything's dark. You're in the bottom of the ocean. At least in the sky, you have a day and night cycle.
Yep. It's also, I would assume, way less invasive to other species.
Yeah. See, I wouldn't mind a city underwater though, because I bet sushi would just be the cheapest thing ever.
True. That's
I
actually
love-
You get to eat that weird deep sea fish sushi too.
Oh
Yeah.
man. Yeah.
I mean, what are you gonna eat up in the sky? Nothing you can't eat already.
The secret
It'll
birds.
just taste like
They
crap.
never land. That's-
Ho-Oh is up there.
Yeah.
'Cause
Yeah,
when-
Ho and Luke are flying around. We're gonna hunt them down. It's gonna be the Moby Dick of that flying city.
I think we've talked about this before, but would you be one of the people to go to Mars if it was the like small team of people that are never coming back, like first expedition?
I would not go as the first expedition, especially in that settlement time in the very beginning, because you're not gonna have internet, you're not gonna have entertainment, like communication between Earth is gonna be really bad.
Yeah.
Maybe during like more of the pioneer era, like let's say if they do a first mission to Mars right now, no, maybe in 30 years I go over there. I feel like it's gonna be a tough time settling on Mars without trying to terraform it first.
Yeah, I mean,
And I think there's
assume
going to
that
be
was-
a whole lot of pushback from people about nuking Mars to terraform it.
Oh, is that how it's going to be done?
I mean, that's how it can be done, and I mean, we don't have any other
Can you
major.
explain that more? I don't know anything about. I understand the concept of terraforming, but like.
It's just changing the structure of a planet to be more habitable to us. So, and to pre-emphasize, I am not a scientist. I am a stupid simian ape that licks windows. So please don't take anything I say with a grain of salt. But I think it's like you nuke it. Basically, if you nuke a planet enough times, you create a nuclear winter by brushing dust up, covering it in the sun. And basically, they're hoping to at least change or improve, say, the humidity of Mars. And stuff like that. So they bomb it until there's a nuclear winter there. They leave it for like 14 years. It settles, and it might still not be breathable, but say there's more water there. There's water there now, or there's other stuff. Trying to change the environment with that stuff, because only thermonuclear weapons, by head, can actually cause like a winter, like a synthetically made winter. I just think at some point in time, people are gonna be like, we need to nuke Mars to make it to make that a nice crater for us to build, like a city, protection from the elements. We need this.
With our current levels of technology, I agree. It would be the only
Yeah.
feasible
Like
way of
we
attempting
just don't
it.
have a space laser. I feel like we're gonna be using nukes to terraform as soon as we actually manage to get to other planets.
Yeah.
Because otherwise they're just sitting there.
Yeah.
And like really, I think eventually there's always going to be dictators and people shooting each other, but I pray to science that eventually people will get smart enough just to realize, like, honestly, even if we drop 1 or 2 of these, we might all die. So, like, we'll use drones, combat warfare, mechanized warfare, but let's say nukes are off the table. We keep them all pointed away from Earth.
Yeah.
Do you watch anime?
Sometimes.
Have you seen the new anime Skate? Or I think it's called Skate the Infinity.
No. Okay.
It's about the high-stakes underground world of illegal skateboarding. In typical, like, Japanese fashion, they're all, like, these crazy over-the-top characters. So, like, there's this guy who's, like, I guess an AI genius. Like, he developed the first stable AI, and so he put it in a skateboard. And by night, he rides it like some kind of ninja skateboarder. There's also, like, this chef who's just shredded, and they're like, he's the strongest skateboarder. But, like, in terms of actual physical strength, so I don't know how that...
I don't know how that translates.
Yeah, I don't know how that equates to anything. The main characters is a guy called Reki, who's kind of like a Japanese delinquent because he rides a skateboard, so you know he's a delinquent, and a half Canadian transfer student named Langa, who's from Canada.
Okay.
And the moment he said, "Oh, I'm from Canada," I'm like, I have to watch this because there's so few Canadian anime characters. I gotta get his back, you know. In the last episode, they all went to A&W, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Like, oh, you know, Langa's Canadian, they're A&W, you know. But then I was like, wait a tick. That's the American A&W that we talked about last time. I was like, you ignorant motherfuckers. Oh, he's Canadian, so I guess all A&Ws just look alike. Like the skate animations is really good, and the thing with Langa is he's not a skateboarder. He's a snowboarder, but there's no snow in Japan. At least not enough to snowboard, so he wants to learn, like, skateboarding.
I mean, like, where is he in Japan that there's no snow?
In Okinawa.
Yeah, there wouldn't be.
Yeah, it's pretty hot there, I hear. But his skateboard is different because he's so used to riding on snow where there's, like, no friction, so he's not used to the wheels on the skateboard. So Reki built his skateboard with swivels on the wheel joints, so it's just going all over the place, and he just keeps spinning. Like, he'll, like, flip like a skateboarder do, like flip on the other side of the board, and just, like, roll around like that.
I just started reading Sunstone.
Nice. I started reading Sunstone when I was a teenager for the literature, but honestly, it's really good. It's one of those comics where I started reading it for the smut, and then after a while I noticed that there was no more smut in the comic book, and I was still reading it, and I was like, this is really good. Yeah.
I mean, I expected as much.
Yeah.
I'm
I think after book 5 or 6, it switches around couples.
Gotcha.
And I like that. You get a taste of it. But I think the thing I like most was, like, that it's kinky, but it deals with kink in, like, such a mature way, and it's like, here it is, like, here's what it is. You know, they even have a character that's kind of, like, views kink based on what society has told her about it, and, like, how she's never saw the dark, shady stuff, and then when she actually starts going to the clubs and meeting other people in the community, you're like, oh, okay, there's a whole take on it. Yeah, I think it's really good. I think it does a good job of, like, showing kink and also showing the importance of consent, especially with that kind of stuff. But I don't want to spoil too much, but it deals with a lot of stuff like that. Yeah. Well, I also like that Stjepan Sejic, who, and I am so happy, because I've been a fan of him for a long time, since he was on DeviantArt, and I'm so glad he got published. People finally saw his talent. He did an amazing run on Harleen. That art was, it was so good. Oh my god, yeah, Harleen was amazing. I think he's doing Isley now. I can't wait for that. I'm so glad DC at least saw his talent and put him to work doing some superheroes. I hope Marvel will hire him just because I want to see his interpretation and rendition of the Avengers.
Yeah.
I've been keeping up with Strange Academy. I actually really, really like it. Like, Humberto Ramos has always been, like, one of my favorite artists. I really like his new kind of darker art style in Strange Academy. Unlike the other times when, like, usually they're super colorful, in this one he's using a lot of darker colors and darker palettes. And I think it translates really well. I always enjoy any kind of Marvel or DC book that introduces new characters, because I really think that's where a budding young author can experiment. You know, it's like, oh, I don't have to follow the lore Bible.
Yeah, there's
you
not
know,
all the pressure
on this stuff. I don't have an editor breathing down my neck because, oh, the Flash said he only smokes when he, has pie. So I can't do this. It's like, oh, brand new character. It's like son of Dormammu.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. So it's the son of Dormammu, and he's on Earth because he wants to learn magic, but he also wants to see what Earth is always like hipping and happening about, because his dad's always trying to conquer it. You know, the Shang-Chi series hasn't been bad.
Really? I had really low expectations, so
I know, me too.
Yeah.
But to be honest, because it's so rare that you get like a good Shang-Chi series.
Yeah.
I thought they did a good job of actually making it kind of relevant to the Chinese American. Like, they actually do a good job of writing it into a believable way, where Shang-Chi's kind of like a good grandson and helps her landlady out at the bakery and stuff like that. So it's actually kind of relatable. And then I like the world building because it introduces, or reintroduces, I guess, 10 rings and the 5 deadly weapons, in that Shang-Chi is the master of the fist, which is one of the schools, but there's also master of the hammer, master of the dagger, the blade, the staff. And basically Shang-Chi's father was the ruler of all of them, but he was super evil and Shang-Chi killed him. And now Shang-Chi is destined to be the new leader. I wouldn't be surprised if it does tie directly into the movie coming out soon. But one thing I hate is that when you look up Shang-Chi on the Marvel Wikipedia, right, it says that Shang-Chi doesn't have superpowers, that he's just at peak physical condition. But in this comic, like, somebody shoots like one of his sisters, and he straight up just goes like that and catches the bullet, and I'm like, no peak human can do that. What are you getting that from? His kung fu is literally a superpower at this point. Oh, what do we got here? Some chocolates?
Yeah. I got some dill pickle chips, some Triscuits.
Dude, get dill pickle out of my face. Oh my god, Philistines, all of you. There's original or there's nothing.
Oh, there's a sweet and salty
Yeah.
popcorn there.
You need a neutral flavored chip.
Wait, did you say you only eat neutral flavored?
Yeah.
Just plain.
Because I don't, yeah, well, what original? Because actually,
Do you at least do it like a salsa dip?
no, I'll occasionally,
You're a psycho, man.
see, I'll occasionally eat like Mrs. Vicky's salt and vinegar, but any other time, it's Lay's or Mrs. Vicky's original. That's it, just
Why?
potato flavor. Because I'm eating potato chip, not a buffalo chip.
Do you ever put anything on anything? Do you only eat white rice? Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, your own
Do you
rice.
have curry with rice, or do you just have curry?
I eat a spoon of curry, and then I eat a spoon of rice.
2 separate bowls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No cross-contamination.
Why do you think they always bring the curry in a separate bowl?
Dude, now I know you're fucking...
I don't even like sweet chili. Well,
but
no,
what about-
sweet
You're,
chili
you're
here
an
is
actual
alright.
psychopath.
But do you not like any dips at all either?
I don't mind dips if it's tortilla chips. Like if I'm having like nachos.
So
Yeah, but I'm not talking about chips in general. I'm talking about potato chips.
okay.
Yeah.
But
Ripple
like-
chips.
that's
When
what
you're
normal
talking
people
about
do.
like French onion dip,
That's for potato chips. That's
Yeah.
for Ruffles
Yeah.
specifically. Ruffles have that nice, like, strong texture they can withstand. If you try to dip like a Lay's, it will just
oh
crumble.
dude, just...
Lay's sucks. I don't know what you're
Oh,
on with the
you
Lay's.
Lay's is great.
Switch to Ruffles.
This is the one pure potato chip.
Swap to Ruffles.
When it comes to all dressed chips, Ruffles.
Well, since you mentioned Ruffles, let me ask you: have you tried all dressed Ruffles?
Yeah, once or twice. They're okay.
No.
Yeah, they're not one of my. I've had them in America, where on the packaging it says, "This is from Canada." It just has a bunch of shit in it. I'm not even kidding. Like, it'll say what's in it, and they were like a bunch of stuff. It's from
Yeah.
Canada.
Friend once asked me, "Hey, why is gravy so good?" And I was like, "Cause it's liquid meat."
Well, let me ask you, as as a white people and a partial white people, how often did you guys actually eat meatloaf at home? Because from what American TV has taught me, it was every day.
No, fuck no.
Probably once a week for me.
Oh yeah?
Hey.
Because it was something we all enjoyed. That's why.
No, my mom. I don't know if this is something she did really actively on purpose,
Right.
but she made a decent amount of dishes.
Like
They
different
were
stuff.
still all white people dishes, but there's enough of them that, like, I would say, for example, given one of them would be probably no more than once a month.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
She's got a good repertoire.
Yeah.
Damn.
Sometimes there would be repeats, but like, yeah, she actually had a lot of things that she would make.
No, my house was because we all just really liked it. So
Yeah,
it
that's
it was
fair.
something my mom was like, "I'll make that because it's Sunday night or whatever."
Yeah. I guess the Asian version of meatloaf, I guess, is like congee or something.
Oh,
You guys ever have it?
But kanji's like a breakfast thing too, right? Like you can eat that.
I mean,
anytime.
breakfast, lunch, dinner. I mean,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter. It's just like rice porridge.
There's this.
No, not
This is a language.
Congee.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
It looks real gross, but it's actually pretty tasty.
Yeah, it's a rice
No, I
porridge.
assume
It's
actually looks good to me.
it's phenomenal. It's delicious. So I ever tell you when I was like younger, that me and my friend, we went on a vacation to Portland, Oregon, right? And apparently once I was there, I found out that it's called Horrigan by the locals, just because of the sheer amount of strip clubs they have there.
Yeah.
They have
Yeah.
a lot. Like, you know, after the first 2 days, me and him, we did the usual tourist stuff. We went to like Powell's, you know, tried a lot of craft beers, did some shopping, stuff like that. Did you guys go to Voodoo Donuts?
Yes.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, the day me and my friend left to drive back home, we bought like three dozen Voodoo Donuts and 2 of the Voodoo Doll ones, just because I'm like, these are amazing. I'm gonna give them to all my friends. And so we are driving back to the border when I think they're like some kind of car broke down because it was the rush hour. People were waiting to get back in through the border. So one car broke down, and so there was like a jam in the middle, right before the gate.
Yeah.
And this one car that was behind that car that had broken down was just like trying really hard to back up and reverse and just like force itself out into another lane. And when it couldn't, passenger of that car, this old sassy black lady, came out and just started like mouthing off to all the cars surrounding their car to like move away. And I was like, how are we supposed to move? We're gridlocked along with you, you know? And she was yelling, and I was trying to like calm her down and stuff. And then she called me. So I went like, bitch, listen. And she like just like punched me. Like, because I had my window open a little, she just punched me in the face through the window, and then just like ran off the roadway and just ran into the woods. And I was like, what?
What?
And my
What just
friend's like,
happened?
yeah, my friend was like, but their car is right in front of you. Like, we don't. She was gone, and basically all the cars around us came out, and they're like, "Are you all right? We gotta tell the border control that like this random lady just punched you in the face." And so I ended up sharing like a whole box of donuts with them. But then by the time I got to the border, I went, they were like, anything to declare? And I went, yeah, well, I was waiting, randomly, like, an elderly black woman was screaming at us and then punched me in the face. And he went, oh, you're the guy that got punched in the face. Apparently all the people that were ahead of me that had seen it had just told them, so they were just waiting for me. And they're like, and he was like, hey, Larry, and the guy one stall over, he's like, this is the guy that got punched in the face, and he was like, ah. And I was like, okay, well, are you guys gonna do something about it? They're like, well, yeah, I mean, they all pointed out that car's there. We're like, we already have her. I don't know why she ran off into the woods. Do you want to press charges? And I'm like, how long is it gonna take? It's like, well, right now she's in trouble for causing like a disturbance and stuff like that, but if you want to press charges, we can get the cops here. But it'll take an hour and a half. And it was already like 9, and I'm like, no, this is just a crazy, no, I'll just go home. He's like, you sure? I'm like, yeah. He's like, yeah, well, and then he got like kind of serious. He's like, we're very sorry, sir, that you were physically assaulted under our, under our watch or whatever. And he just looked in the back and he was like, oh, it looks like you guys got some donuts. You guys can just go through. And I'm like, so the key, if I ever want to smuggle drugs or anything, is to get somebody else to punch me in the face, and then they'll feel bad and just let me through.
I would assume that your answer is going to be similar to mine. Do you personally find it harder driving into America or back into Canada?
Back into Canada.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm totally opposite. From
Yeah.
you.
Or rather, do you mean the difficulty of driving? It's harder to drive in America.
I mean the border crossing specifically.
No. Friggin' America coming back into Canada every time.
America coming back into Canada is harder?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, for me going into America, the people there are just awful.
Why?
They hate their jobs and they're power trippy, whereas the Canadian guards letting you into Canada are so nice.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I thought you were asking.
asking.
I thought you were asking in terms of the whole experience, because usually when I
specifically
go
that
into
point.
Canada, the traffic is just friggin' insane. It takes forever.
Okay.
Stuff like that. If
for
you're
me, I've
talking,
never really
if you're talking
noticed
about
that.
the border agencies, of course the Canadians are better.
Yeah.
The friggin' I think like they have a running bet on the American Border Patrol side to just never smile.
Yeah.
Let's just
They're
let's-
awful.
Yeah, let's just be angry and just like it's just like don't smile. Look in the camera.
Yeah.
Give me your hand. You know. Come back into Canada, they're like, well, howdy, hoser, how you doing? You coming back? You watched the newest game or whatever? Dude, you got punched in the face? Hey, Dave, this idiot got punched in the face. Ah.